Hello students. So in the previous class we had discussed about the principle of management. So in this class we are going to discuss about the evolution of management, then the features of scientific management and the principle of scientific management. So if we are not going through the previous class, please go through it. I will provide the link in the description box. In that class, the important theory 14 principles that is given by the Henry Fayol was already discussed, and it was the administrative theories, okay, administrative principle. So Henry Fayol's theories are basically based on the administrative principles. So now in the evolution of management. So whenever we are talking about anything, it has some histories. So management may also have some history. So from where it comes, okay. So, as we all know that the management is what? It is a continuous process. Since management work in an environment which change rapidly and the environment is dynamic, we all know that. So the management, it was developing from time to time, is not it? So it was came from various phases. So history of management, it says it was based on some thoughts or school of thoughts that gives some important outlines or guidelines regarding how the management will practice. So and that's why it was divided in 6 phases. So first one is the early perspective. It was says that the first principle of management was developed, or the idea of management was developed in the period of 3000 to 4000 BC by an Egyptian ruler at the time of whenever he was constructing the pyramid. Then comes the classical management theory, the most important period where the maximum theories of management is given. The first one is the scientific management, second is the administrative management, then comes the bureaucratic management. The scientific management, it was given by F.W. Taylor, and that's why the F.W. Taylor is also known as the father of scientific management. And the administrative management is given by the Henry Fayol. It has 14 principles. Then comes the bureaucratic management. It was not in your syllabus, just I am giving you the overview. It was given by Max Weber, and this theory says that the reduction of or elimination of the giving importance to only one sector, and this theory basically emphasize on the distribution of the power to the skilled worker. Next came the period of neoclassical, and in the neoclassical theories were developed where the human relationship approach is given more importance, then the behavioral science approach, then the management science, then the modern management. It is the evolution of management, okay. Next comes what? Next comes yours. What is scientific management? So what is scientific management? If discarding or eliminating the old and traditional method is an implementation of the new techniques and new method is scientific management. So to discard the traditional approach to management and adopt the new and more scientific approach in their place is called what? Scientific management. So in this chapter we will discuss about, actually in this period we will discuss about the features of scientific management and the principle of scientific management, and later on we will discuss about the techniques, and lastly we will compare the contribution of Taylor and Fayol in the development of principles, various principles for the management, okay. So now what are the features of scientific management? So scientific, it was based on science. So science is what? It was a systematized and organized body of knowledge. So the first feature will be the scientific approach, systematic approach. So scientific management is a systematic approach to management, and it ensure that all the activities are completed in a systematic and scientific manner. So brings complete mental change. So the manager in the traditional method, what happened, the more importance is given to the top level management. So whatever the decision is given by the top level management, it must be followed by the lower level management. But when scientific management comes, that time the mental status of both the employee and manager, it was completely changed, and now the importance is given to both the parties, that is the managers and employees, in order to increase the production rather than the increase of profitability. Next comes the discard of traditional management. So traditional scientific management, one of the important features is it will work when you are eliminating the traditional approaches and adapting the new techniques in your work in order to increase the efficiency of an employee. Then the next point is it requires strict observation of rules. Why? Because all the rules are formed after due analysis, and there will be very little chance or negligence of getting any error in them. Then the next comes it improves the efficiency of workers. Why? Because the management principles are came over various observation and research work and experimentation on time, motion, fatigue, all the aspects that are importance for for the workers to work in an organization. So to enhance the efficiency of the workers, it helps while you are studying the motion and the time whatever they are required, and it will be not benefit to the worker only, it will benefit to the organization also. So next comes it attempts to minimize the wastage. So when the approaches are systematically arranged, when the principle are systematically arranged, that means you are arranging the time properly, material, machines, so everything is properly set up and you have to work according to it. So it will minimize the wastage, is not it? So like that way it will help in the profitability of the management. Now what are the principle of scientific management? So as already said that the scientific management, it was given by the F.W. Taylor. He is the father of scientific management. So he had basically given 4 principles that says that you have to change your mental status, and you have to change the thinking capacity, and you have to adopt the new techniques, new technology in order to cope up with the environment. So the first principle he suggests that science not rule of thumb. Then next he suggests that the harmony not discord. Then cooperation not individualism. Then the last one was the development of each and every person to his or her greatest efficiency and prosperity. So first principle, what it says, science not rule of thumb. So what is rule of thumb? So rule of thumb, it is a traditional way or traditional method of using the things or managing the things. So what in traditional method, what happened? In traditional method, all the decision making powers is given to the top level management. That means the lower level management, they are not allowed to participate in any of the decision making process. They are only there in the organization to work or to perform whatever the decision is given from the or come from the top level management. So Taylor says that in order to increase the production of the organization, it is important to have scientific techniques, to have a systematically arranged principles or policies, and not just rule of thumb. He suggests that it requires a true judgment, and the suggestion should be also comes from the lower level personnel, not only from the manager, because the lower level managers or lower level workers they are more relevant to the problems they are facing while working in the organization. So they can give the actual suggestion or actual decision on that topic. So Taylor suggests that the decision should be based on scientific inquiry with cause and effect relationship, not just rule of thumb. Okay, then the next principle is harmony, not discord. It says that there must be a complete harmony, means there should be a complete combination, arrangement, orderly arrangement of worker and management. There should not be any conflict in the organization, because conflict creates wastage of time and resources. So Taylor suggests that the workers, in order to get the maximum production for the organization, they have, the management and the worker, they have to work in a combination mode rather than in conflict mode. So but it is not always possible to have a good environment. So there may be conflict, but you have to find the best possible way to solve the problem of the management, and there should be cooperation between the management and the workers. So Taylor also emphasized that the in order to bring the harmony in the organization, there should be a complete mental evolution on the part of management and workers. That means there should be complete change in the mindset of the management and the workers, that should be completely changed from the traditional one. पहले क्या होता था, आप टॉप लेवल मैनेजमेंट से जो भी डिसीजन आता था आपको बस उसमें इम्प्लीमेंट करना है. ऐसा नहीं है कि आप जो प्रॉब्लम फेस कर रहे हो आप उसको आप टॉप लेवल से शेयर नहीं कर सकते थे. बट साइंटिफिक मैनेजमेंट सेज दैट नो, द लोअर लेवल मैनेजमेंट हैज़ ऑल्सो द राइट टू पार्टिसिपेट इन द डिसीजन मेकिंग प्रोसेस. तो दोनों में एक कॉम्बिनेशन होना, अरेंजमेंट, ऑर्डरली अरेंज रहना, कन्फ्लिक्शन ना होना, it is very much important. Next comes the next principle is cooperation, not individualism. So according to this principle, all the activities done in the organization by various people, that should be carried out in a cooperation manner. There should be mutual cooperation between the workers, every workers, and that includes the manager also. सो ट्रेडिशनल मैनेजमेंट में क्या होता था, आपका वहाँ पे इंडिविजुअलिज्म ज़्यादा था कि टॉप एक पर्सन ऑर्डर देगा, देन दे हैव टू फॉलो देम इन द डायरेक्शन. तो दे टॉप लेवल मैनेजमेंट, एक इंडिविजुअल टॉप लेवल, उसी के डिसीजन को बस हमको फॉलो करना है. लेकिन साइंटिफिक मैनेजमेंट में टेलर ये सजेस्ट करते हैं कि नहीं, मैनेजर और वर्कर दोनों को जॉइंटली आके काम करना है, दोनों के बीच में कोऑपरेशन होना बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट है. देन ओनली दे विल गेट द मैक्सिमम प्रोडक्शन और मैक्सिमम आउटपुट फॉर द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. दिस इंक्रीज इवैल्यूएशन एंड दिस इंक्रीज द इन्वॉल्वमेंट ऑफ both the parties, the management and the workers. So it increases the responsibility also, and whenever the responsibility comes, then the work will be done in a more efficient and effective way. So this is the third principle. And the last principle, he suggests that the development of each and every person to his or her greatest efficiency and prosperity. So according to this principle, the efficiency of each and every person is should be taken into care in order to have a right selection for the organization, because it is not possible to have everything in a single person. So in your classroom also you can find that someone will be good in economics, someone will be good in maths, someone is good in business. So every individual have different characteristics, is not it? So it is not possible to have everything in a single person. So it is important to find out the skilled person for the right job. So Taylor suggests that you have to find out the efficiency of each person they are working in the organization, and you should take care of that specific point in order to arrange them in a systematic way. So proper arrangement of everyone is also important. And you have to train according to the requirement of the individual. So a proper arrangement for of everyone's training, that is also important. So it should be also be taken care that each individual should be allotted work according to his ability and interest. So all may not be interested in everything. Someone in your classroom also, if you go through your classroom, someone may be interested in drawing, someone will be interested in music, someone is interested in sports, someone is only interested in studying. So every individual has different interests. So we have to find your potential and we have to allot you according to your requirement only. If someone is very good in sports and if I suggest that no, he or she will have to bring 90% in accounts, is it possible? Because he or she is interested in sports only. तो वो कहाँ जाना चाहेगा? स्पोर्ट्स कैटेगरी में जाना चाहेगा, उसको स्टडी में इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं है, बट मैं ज़बरदस्ती ला के उसको नहीं करा सकती, दैट इज़ नॉट पॉसिबल. So it was the duty of management to find out the individual skills and ability, and they had to allot the work according to their ability and interest. That will help the management or organization to increase their production, because scientific management, it mainly emphasized on the increasing of production. They are not emphasizing on the profit maximization. The Taylor says that whenever the production of the organization will increase, then the profit of the organization, it will increase automatically. That's why he was giving more importance in the how we can increase the production. So in order to increase the production, you have to find out the efficiency of the employees and you have to categorize them according to their skill, and we should support them in each and every term, what they want, what are their efficiency, what are their ability, in which type of work they are interested, and whether they like to participate in management decision. If so, how they will suggest, whether their suggestion are important for the organization, if important, how they can be implemented. So ये सब चीज टेलर ने ध्यान में रखा था, एंड दैट्स व्हाई ही डेवलप दिस थ्योरीज. तो इन थ्योरीज को लाने का मेन मोटिव ये भी है कि हमें सबको इक्वली काम को क्या करना चाहिए, डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करना चाहिए. तो सारे जो प्रिंसिपल्स है उनको हमें क्या करना है, एक बेस्ट पॉसिबल वे में आपको यूज़ करना है, ताकि जो भी आउटकम आए वो एक हमें बेस्ट जॉब हमें ऑफर करे. यहाँ पे हिट एंड ट्रायल मेथड हमें अप्लाई नहीं करना है, यहाँ पे हमें साइंस अप्लाई करना है. साइंस सेज व्हाट इट वाज बेस्ड ऑन द योर्स ऑब्जर्वेशन, एक्सपीरियंस, प्रैक्टिस, एंड यहाँ पे हिट एंड ट्रायल मेथड एप्लीकेबल नहीं होता है. देन वन मोर थिंग यू हैव टू give importance to the mental evaluation. Mental evaluation is very much important in scientific management. Mental evaluation में क्या होता है, आपका मैनेजमेंट एंड वर्कर्स वो दोनों को ही अपना थिंकिंग प्रोसेस, थिंकिंग शेयर करना है. देन ओनली, क्योंकि देखो जो ग्राउंड लेवल में काम करता है उन्हीं को पता होता है कि वो क्या प्रॉब्लम फेस कर रहे हैं. अगर टॉप लेवल मैनेजमेंट ग्राउंड लेवल मैनेजमेंट वर्कर से बातचीत नहीं करेंगे, दे विल नॉट कम्युनिकेट विद देम, देन आप जो भी पॉलिसीज बनाओगे बस आप हिट एंड ट्रायल मेथड के थ्रू में बनाओगे. आपको पता नहीं है एक्चुअली में वहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम क्या हो रहा है. बस आप ये सोच सकते हो कि हाँ वहाँ पे वर्कर्स इस तरह के कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स फेस कर रहे हैं, बट दे मे नॉट. तो ये इम्पोर्टेंट है कि हम ग्राउंड लेवल में जाएं, उनका थिंकिंग क्या है, वो क्या सजेस्ट करना चाहते हैं वो जान ले. सो ये एक कंप्लीट ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन ऑफ देयर थिंकिंग, इट इज़ वेरी मच इम्पॉर्टेंट. सो दैट्स ऑल फॉर टुडे. प्लीज़ डू लाइक, share and subscribe my channel. and in the next class we will discuss about the techniques, and we will compare the contribution of Taylor and Fayol. Okay, thank you.